The sign was 8 centimeters wide, laminated, and stapled through her collarbone. That's the detail nobody believed when I first heard this story. Not the war, the staple. Her name was Tarn Salva, 21 years old by her people's count, which runs a little longer than ours. And someone on Hollow Reach Station had decided she was worth exactly nothing. I've heard this story maybe 40 times now, from 4 different people who were there, and I still don't understand how a sentence the aliens wrote themselves ended up the reason 3 of their fleets burned. Hollow Reach isn't a station. It's a moon somebody scooped the inside out of. Refugees, broken labor stock, debts nobody wanted. All of it moves through there, under what they call burden law. Every person on the floor wears a placard. Useful, taxable, contagious, dangerous, or the one that isn't a kindness at all. Free. On Hollow Reach, free means no one's responsible if you die. No species claims you, and no clan answers for what happens next. Dale Korren wasn't supposed to be anywhere near the market deck. He fixed heat vents. That was the whole job. Crawl under the floor, find what's broken, fix it, and don't talk to anyone who outranks a thermal regulator. He kept the labels, though. Every busted warning tag, he pulled off a leaking pipe. Every torn placard he found jammed in a vent shaft. 3 years of trash folded into his jacket pocket. He used to say labels tell you what a place doesn't want you to notice. He noticed the staple first, then the sign, then the girl underneath it, restraints wired straight into the disposal line, waiting for a clock he couldn't see to run out. Dale didn't call security. He didn't call anyone. He reached up and peeled the sign off her skin. Here's the thing about Hollow Reach: nobody tells new arrivals. Pulling a free sign isn't rescue. It's adoption. Because every debt, every medical bill, and every grudge anyone ever held against that person becomes yours the second your fingers touch the laminate. The merchant who'd tagged her, a Velhari broker named Rel, found that out about 4 minutes later. The Velhari hadn't lost a contract dispute in 3,000 years. He found Dale standing over the girl, sign crumpled in one fist, and he laughed. "You understand what you just bought?" "I didn't buy anything," Dale said. "She's not cargo." Rel didn't raise his voice. That's what made it worse, the people who were there say. He just tilted his head, the way Velhari do when they're deciding how much of the truth to spend. "Everything on this floor is cargo," Asa said. "That's the only reason it's still breathing." Dale looked down at the sign in his hand. He read it again. Then he asked the question that, and I promise you, this is true, nobody on that station had bothered to ask in 400 years of running this exact transaction. Who wrote this? Asa didn't answer right away. Why would he? It was a stupid question. The consortium wrote it, standard form, and it didn't matter who. "It matters," Dale said, "if you're human." This is where the story stops being about a girl on a market floor. It starts being about a law nobody outside the frontier colonies remembers exists. Because it was written for a disaster, and disasters get buried once they're survived. 140 years ago, a colony ship called the Anders Run got stranded near a trade hub that didn't recognize human ownership claims. Families got separated by debt auctions. Children were sold off as unclaimed inventory while their parents were still alive, 3 docking bays away. The survivors didn't write a revenge law. They wrote a trap. Any sentient being marked free of ownership is, by that same declaration, free of every claim that ever existed against them. Debts, liabilities, retaliation rights. Gone. Because if you're willing to call a person worthless enough to abandon, you've already admitted you never had a real claim to begin with. It only needed one human, on one floor, in front of one alien who'd written that sign without reading his own paperwork. Dale wasn't fixing a vent this time. He was reading a label. Same habit, same man, just a much louder room. Rel's smile didn't move, but something behind it did. That law applies to humans, Asa said. She isn't human. She's not your cargo either, Dale said. You already signed that. I'm just the one who picked it up. For about 6 seconds, nobody on the deck moved. Tarn Salva, still wired to a disposal line that hadn't deactivated yet, made a sound that wasn't quite a word. Dale knelt down and started working the restraint clasps with the same hands he used on broken thermal valves. Steady, unhurried, like the room wasn't full of armed brokers watching a frontier maintenance worker dismantle 400 years of policy with a stapled price tag. For one breath, it looked like it might just end there. A girl freed. A broker embarrassed. A story nobody outside Hollow Reach would ever hear. Then the consortium's arbitration drone, the thing that exists purely to log transactions, no opinions, no authority, chimed and broadcast Dale's claim to every linked exchange in the sector. Automatically, that's its job. Log the sign. Log the removal. Log the loss cited. Nobody had told it not to. By the time Asarel realized what had happened, 6 other stations had already pulled the frontier law from their own archives. The ones that still had humans quietly working their lower decks, fixing vents, polishing hulls, going unnoticed. And every single one of them was reading the same 4 words off the same kind of sign. Dale didn't start a war by being strong. He started one by finishing someone else's sentence. The fighting that followed wasn't fast, and it wasn't clean. 3 Velhari fleets moved on human-staffed stations within the week, trying to seize back what their own paperwork had already surrendered. Trying to unconfess a confession. Tarn Salva didn't fight in any of it. She spent that week in Dale's quarters, 3 decks below the market floor, sorting his folded warning labels into neat little piles by language. Apparently, that's what she did with her hands when she didn't know what else to do with them. Dale never gave a speech. People asked him to afterward, broadcasters, officials, and a Velhari diplomat who wanted a quote for the surrender record. He gave the same answer every time. And it's the line that ended up stitched into half the unofficial histories of that war. I just read what was already written. That's it. That's the whole reason 3 fleets burned over a stapled sign on a 21-year-old woman. Not fury, not pride. A maintenance worker happened to be the one person in the room willing to take a label seriously. I still don't fully believe it, honestly, even now, even having heard it from people who watched it happen. A war that didn't start with a declaration. It started with the alien's own signature. I just read what was already written.